in the Nigeria Super 8. Well, away from all of that, we'll talk about the stories from there and what this means for Nigeria's biggest team, Eyimba Football Club. We'll talk about the FIFA World Cup 2026 qualifiers, where Nigeria have been drawn against Benin Republic, South Africa, Zimbabwe, and others in a bid to qualify for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Well, the star of the story is that it's going to be a reunion for Nigeria and Coach Geno Raw. Of course, Ashley Plumpton, my crush, who plays for the Super Falcons of Nigeria, has left Leicester City women's team. And that's the story from there. We'll talk about transfers this afternoon extensively. Nottingham Forest are set to sign from a Chelsea man, Willian. We also hear that Kyle Walker might be making his move to Bayern Munich, as we hear also that Tottenham Hotspur chairman Daniel Levy is set to go to Bayern Munich over a potential sale of Harry Kane. This and so much more is definitely going to make the plates and form the conversation with you this afternoon. Welcome once again to the show. 090-2223-1011 and 0817-624-8565. Once again, my name is Mariziona, and I've got the expert company of Bladder Kim, the High Chief, Mfoni Tina, and of course, what looks like a transfer that it's not done yet. He's still on audition, still on trials. His name is Ifiok Johnson. He joins the conversation as well this afternoon, and together we'll do justice to what's in the plates. Ladies and gentlemen, as Ifiok would say, the Football Fans Friday is officially here again. Welcome. Just go to one on the fan page, the official page. You want the blue tick, go there, drop a comment, and we're going to take your comment in the course of the show. All right, so, and of course, 090-2223-1011 and bust into the football scene in the country in the most glamorous of fashions, qualified for the NPL for next season. And we're one of the best teams from the NNL Super 8, just concluded a couple of weeks ago. I've showed a lot of class and quality. Began their campaign with a draw against Lobby Stars, and then they got a victory against, began a campaign with a draw, of course, against Eyimba, then defeated Roma Stars, and also defeated Katsina United in the final game to finish with 7 points and qualify for the semi-finals of the competition. They pose a threat against Akwa United.
Absolutely. Mari, first of all, so good to be on the show. But let me start with Sporting Lagos. Decent side, you must say, quite a decent side, and the opportunities that comes with the game they play. Look, when this team was created barely 3 years ago and the dominance they've shown so far, it makes a lot of sense. And for me, this is the biggest test for Fatal Show and Akwa United. We're talking about them having a decent end of the season tournament, talking about the Super 8 tournament, and it has been making sense. But against Sporting Lagos, that's when we know how strong they are. the direction of this team moving forward. I saw the first two games for Aqua United during the group stages did make sense, had some decent win despite losing to Lobby Stars at the last game of the group. But now it's a big one, Sporting Lagos. And I'm looking forward to what the outcome would be, Mari. From all angles and standings, it is going to be a very, very big game.
All right, 2-1 for Sporting Lagos, coached by Paulo for Giants Killers. Obviously, got victories against Eimba, Remo Stars, got a draw against Eimba rather, got a victory against Remo Stars and Katina United. So clearly, they understand what it means to take on top teams in Nigeria. Well, do they stand a chance against Aqua United? If they do, how do they intend to do that?
Well, I think they've already been nicknamed the giant killers of this particular Niger Super 8 tournament right now. So I think it's a great one for them and for the fans of football over there in Lagos. You know, it's been a while they've had like a good representation, you know, in the Nigerian professional football scene. But I think for Sporting Lagos, if they want to stage an upset against Aqua United, they would have to bring a lot to the table when they face Aqua United, because Aqua United are not coming there to play. I think they actually want to get this one in the bag. So it's going to be a great one for football fans, for the neutrals actually. So I think it's going to be a very good game of football between Sporting Lagos and Aqua United.
All right, so if you're Johnson, from an Aqua United perspective, the team had 2 wins and a loss in the group stages of the competition. Now, looking forward, because obviously, like a fan that I know you are, you're expecting the team to not just win this game, but also win the competition and go home with 25 million naira. And that's the story. But what do they need to do? Talk about Aqua United to put themselves over the line, get this victory against Sporting Lagos, get to the final, and win the competition.
Well, like Vlad said, actually, the last game where the loss was actually a very bad one. Well, the first 2 games was actually very good. They had to show some class in it. But this is a very, very technical game. They have to play their best. Sporting Lagos has become the surprise of the tournament. At least winning the big giants, beating Katsina United was no mean feat. 1-0 at the end of the day. We have to play differently. You have to, even if it's to play dirty to win this one, you have to. The Super 8 is coming up, and of course, it's the last bit of what we need for at least a silver medal, silverware in the club this season. And of course, we have to start with a good one. So we need to beat Sporting Lisbon.
All right, so as we look forward to what's happening, it's halftime, and guess what? In the game between Lobby Stars and Remo Stars are leading Lobby Stars by a goal to whoever wins that game qualifies for the final, and would wait for who wins between Aqua United and Sporting Lagos. And that's going to be quite an interesting conversation as we look out for so far. But as things stand right now, it's Della Acorio's goal that stands so far, and it's Remo Stars 1, Lobby Stars 0. When we saw the CAF General Assembly go down in Côte d'Ivoire, Ivory Coast particularly. Before we talk about the FIFA World Cup qualifiers, let's tell you that Eimba Football Club will not, sadly, be a part of the CAF Super League inaugural edition. It was announced by Gianni Infantino yesterday. The new 8-team Africa Football League, CAF Super League rather, will commence on October 2023, and at the CAF's General Assembly that was held yesterday, the 8 teams to participate at the maiden edition we announced. In what to be a disappointment for 9-time Nigerian champions Eimba, no Nigerian club was considered to be part of the first edition of the competition. And of course, it's quite a story, because it was supposed to be a 24-team tournament. That was the original proposal from CAF, that the Super League was going to be a 24-team tournament. And of course, Eimba will put in as part of the teams to participate, but drastically and suddenly we heard yesterday that it's reduced to just 8 teams, and the 8 teams are Mamelodi Sundowns of South Africa, Petro Atletico of Angola, TP Mazembe of DR Congo, Al Ahly of Egypt, Horoya of Guinea, Wydad Casablanca of Morocco, Simba FC of Tanzania, and Esperance FC of Tunisia. All right, so Blyden, were you shocked with the story that Nigeria's biggest name when it comes to football, Eimba, will not be a part of the first edition of the CAF Super League?
Well, first of all, let me say that I'm quite happy to realize that the Super League will still hold, because after some time I thought there won't be any. because it was taking too long. But I'm happy that it's taking place. One of the shocks for me was the fact that I never anticipated an 8-team tournament instead of the previous analyze and perspectives of the 2014 tournament, which would involve Enyimba Football Club. But it's typically about what football is all about, the Medellin edition, and Enyimba is not part of it. It's not just Enyimba. The likes of Raja Casablanca, Zamalek are not part of it. ASEC Mimosa are not part of it. It's a conversation, but it's always going to be an unfolding one. But the only disappointment I have is because when you're a leader and you make a statement, you ought to stand by your statement.
Yeah.
Or come out to debunk the statement and say, come on, there are bound to be changes early enough. Because clubs like Enyimba Football Club has begun making informed decisions based on what the CAF president has
based
said
on the projection of participating.
I remember Dakada Football Club some 2 seasons ago going to Enyimba to beat Enyimba at Aba. And it was a surprise to everybody, but basically we all realized Enyimba were interested in the CAF competition, but they were more interested in the Super League.
Yeah.
But the Super League never came a year after now, and now it's here, and you're not part
All right,
of
so
it.
if we talk about the disappointment, but one would question, the criteria for that CAF use, rather the criteria that CAF utilized to select these 8 teams, and how is Enyimba not part of these 8 teams, and what exactly was CAF's criteria? Did this is for measuring who takes part in this 8-team tournament?
I think since it's not the first edition of it, they had their reasons. They had the reasons. Maybe they're looking at the market value of these teams who are going to play.
Market value.
Definitely. When last did you see Enyimba in the CAF Champions League, or actually, surprised being in the CAF Champions League and doing well? So they're looking at the market value, which teams will actually bring in the money for them, which teams will have more TV value to watch. At the end of the day, who is playing the good football? So I think for them, they knew what they do. And, well, like Brian rightly said, the mistake was, if you had to change these teams, you must have told them, look, there will be some changes ahead of time. So get yourself prepared. Like Enyimba had preparations based on this, and they were making signings, of course, getting themselves ready, just for the Super 8 to come in and tell them that you're not there anymore.
So, you want to talk about the top now? According to CAF's rankings, so let's do facts. According to CAF's rankings, this ranking is based on the performance of this team from the 1st of June 2022 to the 31st of May 2023. Enyimba are ranked 30th in CAF's coefficient rankings, just behind Rivers United, who are ranked 29th in CAF's rankings. You want to talk about Africa's top teams in the last 10 years? Are you going to put Enyimba in that list?
Of course not. When last they make it to the semi-finals of a CAF competition,
What,
even the CAF Confederation Cup. Come on, you have to look at the Rivers United have tried a little bit. Even Akwa United at the point, I think we reached the quarterfinals of the Confederations Cup when the Moroccan team came to Akwa Ibom here. But I think Enyimba, if you want to look at Enyimba, you would have to go as far back as 2003, 4, 5 to get when they were actually dominating in Africa. So I think it's actually a very factual.
So you're saying that this omission is justified?
Yes, CAF is justified with that list. They are very, very justified. We've had a lot of teams coming from Africa and have gone past the likes of Enyimba.
All right, so what, Blyden, it's a slap on our face as Nigerians. We call ourselves the Giants of Africa, and teams from Angola, right, DR Congo, are making a way in this competition. But we want to look at Angola, the national team. They don't come close to the Super Eagles of Nigeria. The same story goes for DR Congo. But these countries, even Guinea, Royal of Guinea in this 18 competition, but these countries have been able to consistently, deliberately, intentionally work out their league to make it top-notch and compete at the continental level. This would definitely be a slap on our faces, Nigerian football stakeholders.
I think it's a big slap on our faces and quite disappointing from a CAF point of view because, come on, Nigeria is big, Mary. Nigeria is the giant of Africa.
Blyden.
They ought to have a team.
See, Blyden, I think that tag is our biggest illusion as a country.
It doesn't
Giants
matter.
of Africa.
It doesn't matter, Mary. You cannot call the Super League without a Nigerian team represented.
Really?
Come on. We've got the population.
When was the last time a
If you're
Nigerian team...
talking about TV rights,
when was the last time a Nigerian team won a CAF competition?
well, it's not the conversation for me at the moment. It's an inaugural edition of this competition. We're looking at...
No intent to cut you short, Blyden. Look across these teams. The 8 teams. They've performed consistently well. Some of them have won this competition in the last 10 years twice, 3 times. TP Mazembe, Mamelodi Sundowns, Al Ahly of Egypt. We know what they've been doing. at CAF competitions. Horoya of Guinea, consistent performers. We're talking Wydad Casablanca. They're getting to the final of every CAF competition almost every single year. So these teams are the top teams currently in Africa. So why is Nigeria coming in when we haven't even done half of what these teams have done
I think
in the last 10
they could
years?
have found a way to extend it, maybe 10. Bring in a Yimba Football Club. They've been the best representation for Nigeria over the years. Make it bigger if you can. My point is this, Mari. It's an inaugural edition of it. Make it look like inaugural edition of it. Teams with history ought to be there. I'm surprised I've not seen ASEC Mimosa in there. ASEC Mimosa ought to be there. It shouldn't just be about the last 5 or 10 years. For me, it's the first edition. Make it even bigger. If you put a team in Nigeria in that mix, it makes it beautiful and big. If ASEC Mimosa is part of it, it makes it beautiful and big. But back to your thought pattern. Basically what it is, it's a big slap to Nigeria in particular, because we've always talked about what we've done over time. But come on, Mario, if you look at it over the generations and years, you realize Nigerian teams have not been successful at CAF competition. Yes, African Cup of Nations performance from that angle as a country, but club football we've not really been quite successful. It's unfolding conversation, and you'll always be there. But I feel a Nigerian team and ASEC Mimosa should have been in that list.
All right, so that's the story. I think personally that it's shameful that our biggest team is ranked 30th in CAF's rankings. Giants of Africa, my phone. All right, so let's take our first batch of calls here. 090-2223-1011 and 0817-624-8565. Well, this is a call for us to do better. If countries like DR Congo can make their leagues so good, teams like Tanzania, we saw Tanzania last season at the CAF Confederations Cup. They went all the way to the final. You know, their team, Young Africans, to the Rivers United too. It means it's workable. We can actually make our league better if we want to do it. Let's not stick with mediocrity while we can do better. Thank you very much, the NFF. Thank you, the IMC. All I'm saying is we can do better. 090-2223-1011 and 0817-624-8565. Good afternoon. Welcome to the show.
Hello, my brother.
Welcome, neighbor location.
This is Johnson calling from the Johannesburg.
Welcome, Johnson.
Brother Lee, please, I want to say something about the Women World Cup, where Nigeria is going to take on Canada on 21 of this.
All right.
In fact, I don't even know the level of preparation of those ladies, because I have seen that some countries are playing their friendly matches. But these Falcons, I don't even know the country they are playing their own friendly match. So, me, I don't understand if they are preparing at all.
Brother, they are preparing. They have a friendly game against an Australian women's side. So they are preparing on Saturday, tomorrow.
So, okay, tomorrow?
Yes, I have a friendly game tomorrow.
Okay. Then concerning the Super 8. In fact, I want to believe that Accra United will beat their opponent this afternoon.
All right.
There is no two talk about it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Have a nice day. Good afternoon. Welcome to the show. Victor, the Sports Oracle. Good afternoon, Victor. Welcome.
Yeah, good afternoon, Emmanuel and Clarence. What a great weekend to be back. Maradona, I'm so much happy for the Super 8. I've been a real amazed for the Nigerian team for their preseason. So this time around has been a different one. So there's been a lot of back orders to the team who participate. So the first game in the knockout phase, also River win and go to the final. My own key attention is Accra United versus the Lagos team that have played in the beat. Let me say something that Accra United has done very, very well to take this competition to a climax. So me,
All right.
as a loving fan of Accra United, I don't want anything to be a storming block to them now. So let them warm up and prepare for the game. I wish Accra United all the best. That's my thing.
Thank you so much, Victor, for talking to us. Comes in Top Gunner.
Good afternoon, Mary. Hi,
Good afternoon, Top Gunner.
the time between Accra United and the Sporting Lagos today, I guess, that look, Accra United has a point to do. They have rested enough towards their game, while Sporting Lagos have not rested. Accra United should be careful with Sporting giant killers against their first meeting. Sporting Lagos are highly motivated final sponsors. Aqua United should avoid being the first casualty. Finally, Mari, the game is experienced Aqua United versus hungry, youthful, sport joggers of Sporting Richard.
You're right.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much, Top Gunner, for talking to us. In comes Nani.
Good afternoon, Arizona. This is Nani.
Welcome, Nani.
Nani to Biakoran.
All right.
My brother, it's not an easy thing. Let's leave this Nigerian team out of the CAF League, whatever they call it. My brother, when last did any Nigerian team won the CAF Champions League? 2004. So, check out the ranking, my brother. That is not what I wanted to say. What I wanted to say is about this, my Manchester United. Please let them do the needful before it's too late. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. Welcome to the show. Joe.
Yes, this is Joe from Ipanja.
Good afternoon, Joe.
Thanks so much. My son, I think Aqua United would have no excuse rather than to win this tournament. 20 million naira is not a joke, and that will take in their preparation.
25 million naira.
Yeah, 25 million naira rather for their preparation in the main league that will commence. For Enyimba, I think the CAF is not doing the wrong thing. It's not about currency. This is not money, but have current style in African cities. And Enyimba is completely out for maybe the last past, the past 10 years, they were not there in the African cities. Yes, the CAF team, but. So I think definitely what the CAF has done so far is justified. Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you very much. All right, so also we're talking about stories from the CAF, as well as one of the discussions at CAF meeting yesterday. We hear that CAF has announced increment of money that will be spent in the interclub competition for next season. The football body yesterday made some key decisions, and that was to improve the welfare of players. And that means more money coming in. Well, Ayimba Remo Stars will represent Nigeria at the CAF Champions League. Rivers United and Ben Insurance will play in the Confederations Cup. Delta Queens will play at the Wafubi CAF Men's Champions League qualifiers. So there's money for us. Sadly, there's no Nigerian team in the CAF futsal and school competition. We still have to do better. Good afternoon. Welcome.
Afternoon. This is Senator for the
Radio Senator, welcome.
Okay, what I just believe is that this next season I know that is for Arsenal, because what they are doing now, I do not even believe it. Because I see that no team in England can beat Arsenal this season. And we are going to play unbeaten. And all those people who say that Arsenal will not collect that league next season, you will see wonder. We are going to beat Man U, beat Man City, beat Chelsea. But let me tell the Chelsea fans, either they will go relegation, because I don't see the reason why they sell all their players. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you very much for talking to us this afternoon. All right, so let's talk about Nigeria, guys. It was reviewed yesterday as part of the CAF meeting. Blyden, the Super Eagles have been drawn in Group C alongside South Africa, Benin Republic, Rwanda, Lesotho, and Zimbabwe for the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers. The draw ceremony was held on Thursday in Abidjan, Côte d'Ivoire. The West African side missed out of last year's World Cup in Qatar, having lost to Ghana in the qualifiers, in the playoffs rather. The Eagles side, they've got Benin Republic to face in the first game, and this is going to be a story of a reunion, some level of emotionalness in the conversation, because Benin Republic is currently coached by Nigeria's former manager, Gernot Rohr. Well, Nigeria would qualify automatically to the expanded World Cup to be co-hosted by USA, Mexico, and Canada if they finish first from the group. Meanwhile, the four best runners-up from the groups to play a CAF playing tournament. The winner of the tournament to play in a FIFA playoff tournament. The first round is slated for November 13th to 21st, 2023. So I'll start with Chimfon. The teams as follows: South Africa, Benin Republic, Rwanda, Lesotho, Zimbabwe. Can Nigeria qualify as group winners?
Well, to be very sincere, I'm actually very worried of the South Africans. If you want to look at our head-to-head record, I would not have it over them right now, but you want to look at the matches actually. You want to go in-depth into the matches we've played against them. They're always a very formidable opponent against Nigeria. No matter how bad they are faring at the moment, they always have, bring up their A game against Nigerians. So I think it's actually left to see what we have to do on the game or on the pitch. So Nigeria, we boast of one of the best crop of stars now from Africa: Victor Osimhen, Taiwo Awoniyi, and the likes of them in this world. So I think it's going to be a great battle between Nigeria and South Africa.
All right, so if you're Mfon says South Africa is the biggest threat, but are we going to look down on a man who coached us before, took us to the AFCON? We won bronze medal in that AFCON, and since then, since leaving, we haven't even been able to qualify for the World Cup. The last AFCON, the first AFCON without him, we crashed out at the round of 16. Gernot Rohr coaching Benin Republic. He has some trade secrets of Nigeria that could help him help Benin Republic defeat us in this qualifiers.
Well, at this point, I'm not looking at underrating anybody because especially you're going to roll on that squad. We have a record with Gernot Rohr. He has actually qualified us for almost everything he has taken us.
With a game to spare, we stopped calculating a long time ago.
Now this is a different ball game. We are not still convinced with Pesero and of course his game plan. We just luckily beat what's their name again? The last guys, Sierra Leone. Just the Whiskers. Liberia. We just beat them with just the Whiskers. We had to see how we had to dig deep together. Now, what would be our chances of beating South Africa, Lesotho, Rwanda, and of course Guinea as well? Let's be very sincere to ourselves. We have a lot to do if we really want to qualify without doing the permutations and the calculations and calculus at the end of the day.
Did you just say calculus?
Yes, because we need it.
All right, Joel Bladden. Let's link this conversation with the current problems rocking the NFF. Pesero salaries being owed and all of that. As we stand now, this is July the 14th, and we don't know if we have a coach because we hear last we checked, Pesero's contract ended in June 30, 2023. So, there's a lot happening under the background and the hand dealings going here and there and all of that. But Pesero, do you trust him to end the country as group winners? Because it will make more sense if we qualify as group winners, because there's no assurance that we go to that playoff and meet teams like Algeria that would win.
Mari, I would have loved you to say, I know you don't trust Pesero. You could have started that.
Tell them yourself you don't trust Pesero. I don't want to speak for you.
I've said it all the time. Come on, Mari. Look, it's not the best of times in the national team at the moment, but Nigeria is still Nigeria. Let me talk about the qualifiers and leave Pesero alone. I've said it for how many times? Uncountable times now. He's not the best of coaches for Nigeria because I've looked at the performances. It's not added up at all. But here is it, Mari. Everyone is talking about some of these teams. We're underrating Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe, for me, could be a hard nut to crack. And especially...
Zimbabwe, not Pesitao, what's his name? Kama Billiards is the biggest name in the country.
It doesn't matter. South African countries are tough, as far as I'm concerned. But here's a conversation for Super Eagles, what I fear the most. Away games. In this particular qualifying series, you end up playing 10 massive games moving forward to qualify. And you're going to Rwanda, you're going to Lesotho, you're going to all these places. And most often than not, we know the story with Nigerian players sometimes. You don't have players turning big superstars, sometimes turning off for most of these away games. It could be the conversation I pray it shouldn't be. But Zimbabwe is a problem. Gernot Rohr came out and already said, well, he has some fear about Nigeria. Definitely should fear if you're Benin. I heard they had a new name from the squirrel. I'm trying to think about the name.
Gernot Rohr give them a new name.
But Mari, here's a conversation for me. The South African coach is already talking tough and is so excited that he's going to face Nigeria. And most likely, last time they met Nigeria, what happened? Nigeria couldn't beat South Africa. Second leg was in South Africa, still ended a draw.
Right.
And that Nigerian team was stronger than this one as a team. Maybe not better collection of players, but as a team, the Nigerian team that couldn't beat South Africa was stronger than the current team.
Gernot Rohr told them, don't be squirrels. You cannot fear squirrels. Be cheaters. You can be afraid of cheaters. So let's look at the other groups, guys, because there's loads of competition expected in the other groups of competition. First of all, in Group B, there's Senegal, there's DR Congo, there's Mauritania, there's Togo, there's Sudan, and there's South Sudan, right? There's quite a political tension between those two countries, but Senegal, Congo, Mauritania, Togo, Sudan, and South Sudan. Von?
Well, if you take a
looks like an easy ride for Senegal.
Of course, if you take a look at all the groups, you would find out that we have top tier teams. Like each group, we have one. So I think CAF is expecting these top teams to go through.
Which is the top team in Nigeria's group?
Come on, you want to look at Nigeria and South Africa on paper. Nigeria looks better than South Africa, and they are the top two teams there. So Nigeria is the top team there in that group.
Yeah, right.
It's really obvious.
We talked about Group C, where we have Nigeria, South Africa, Benin Republic, Zimbabwe, Rwanda, and Lesotho. If your Group D has Cameroon, Cape Verde, Angola, Libya, Eswatini, and Mauritius.
Well, with that he's mentioned already, you should know Cameroon should qualify from that group.
Yeah.
But this is my issue. Now, some few weeks ago, we had a conversation where I think Algeria lost to a team, or is it Morocco lost to a team, in no decent fashion. And I keep on asking, what's going on? Now, I can't place my bets on anyone on any of the groups, because at the end of the day, these teams go out there to fight till the end.
Yeah.
Even in the group where Nigeria is, we could be very surprised. Lesotho will actually pull off a surprise.
Lesotho of all teams.
Of all
I can't even
teams.
pronounce the name of the country.
So we should be very careful of how we put these permutations together.
Right.
Now, but in paper, Cameroon should actually qualify from that group.
Yeah, I see sense in that. Well, Blyden Group Group E has Morocco, Zambia, Congo, Tanzania, Niger, and Eritrea. Remember Eritrea? At some they were looking for men. I don't know why we didn't go to Eritrea. If I know, would have represented the national team of that country. All right, so Blyden, Morocco, Zambia, Congo, Tanzania, Niger, Eritrea. Looks quite tricky, because you cannot write off Zambia. You also cannot write
African
off
champions before.
Niger Republic. But it's Morocco there, and we know Morocco have been quite decent and dominant in African football in the past 12 to 18 months. What do you make of that group?
I think after the performance at the World Cup, Morocco seems to be the best team in Africa at the moment. In terms of organization, I think they'll have a good ride in this group. Zambia seemed like a tough one, the biggest of the names in that group to create a challenge for me, but I do not see them stopping Morocco. I think Morocco have a clean sweep moving forward.
All right, so let's look at Group F. Group F has host of next year's African Ivory Coast. There's Gabon, there's Kenya, there's the Gambia, there's Burundi, and there's Seychelles. Fun.
Well, it's pretty clear. You look at Ivory Coast with the likes of Wilfred Zaha, Amad Diallo, Eric Bailey, and I can't, talk about any other team from that group that boast of stars like that.
You know my problem with the names?
They are just names.
Exactly. Nigeria.
Zaha is just a name. Compared to the teams
when we
in that
took on
group.
Ghana,
When we
took on Ghana at the World Cup qualifiers, right?
Yes.
Last year. Oh, we have
Osimhen.
Victor Osimhen, Alexi Iwobi. What are you talking about?
We have Daniel Amate at Ghana. We have Thomas Partey.
When you're
Yes.
talking about Ghana, it's not just about the team. It's about the pedigree too. It's not just about individual players. The pedigree that comes with
Exactly.
the team. So it becomes that stage for them. But I think it's the only problem I have for Ivory Coast is this. In recent times, I look at the performances of the Ivorians.
They are gone.
We say Nigeria is bad. Come on. If you put Ivory Coast side by side with
Yeah,
Nigeria,
with the quality they have.
then Ivory Coast is terrible.
Terrible, definitely terrible. Well, let's move on. Group G has Algeria, Guinea, Uganda, Mozambique, Botswana, Somalia, Ethiopia.
Algeria, clearly, from the
Now,
antecedents of things.
Guinea has
Naby Keita.
Naby Keita. They have this man, former Roman midfielder. What's his name now? I'm trying to remember his name now. Amadou Diawara.
Mary, forget about the name.
We keep on mentioning just 2 or 3 players. Would these 2 or 3 players carry the team to the end? We have teams that will actually play for themselves and, of course, fight to the end.
All right,
The
so
question is, what is the pedigree of the team?
all right. Let's look at pedigree in Group H: Tunisia, Equatorial Guinea, Namibia, Malawi, Liberia, Sao Tome, and Principe. Blyden.
I expect Tunisia to qualify from that group. If they don't qualify, then it's up to them. Do not see a big challenge there. Liberia should be beaten well. Sao Tome and Principe, remember Nigeria defeated them 10-0.
10.
Malawi, in those days, used to try a bit, but recently Malawi is not the top side. Namibia, same story. Equatorial Guinea, Mari. The last time I saw them, they were doing a bit of thing in women's football, and they've come these days. I think Tunisia will have it.
Right, so let's look at Group I, and this is for everybody. There's Mali. Now there's Ghana. There's Madagascar. There's Central African Republic, CAR, there's Comoros, and there's Chad. Now, Mali is in pot 1.
Yeah,
Ghana
pot 2.
came in pot 2. Mali didn't qualify for last year's World Cup. Ghana did. Right, so it's tricky.
And Western
Fun.
the qualification.
Well, I wanted to point that out when I was talking about top teams in each group. Mali is the top seed in that group. Actually, they are in pot 1 there. I think the Malians, if you want to look at them, they're very free scoring side. They score goals for fun. I think Ghana would have a lot on their hands if they are to qualify from that
All
group.
right, so like my friends will say, Malians come forward, the rest go back.
Let me just add a bit there.
Yeah, Blyden.
I see this group. I do not see a pot 1 team. All of them look pot 2 for me. Both Ghana and Mali look
Blyden, why
pot
do
2
you
for me.
disrespect Mali? Are you calf?
Let me say this, come on. Over the years, you look at what Mali has done. Have you ever heard Mali qualify for a World Cup before? I've not heard of
Have
it.
to check
come on.
that.
No, I've not heard of it, Mari. If it happened, maybe when I wasn't born. But when I was born and started watching football, I've never heard of Mali do that at all. So I've looked at the Nations Cup performances of Mali. You've not heard of Mali getting to the semi-final.
Well, they have never qualified for the World Cup.
That's the conversation.
But they're always there in the Nations Cup.
Yeah,
The last
they've
very
been
good
there for 13 times.
Have they reached the semi-finals before? At the Nations Cup. Since I was born,
Yes,
now I am
yes,
old.
actually, in 1972, they finished as runners-up.
Absolutely. Since I was born, now I'm old. I've not seen Mali then. So they are obviously put two kind of teams.
Blyden, before get it raw, when last did Nigeria reach the semi-final of the AFCON?
Before get it wrong.
Yeah, when last can you go back?
2013.
2013, that's what we are talking about. That's how many years ago. Come on, look at it. If you want to write Mali off for not reaching the semi-finals, they are always there.
It's 5 years between the last one won the AFCON and when we
For
won.
a country of Nigeria's caliber.
One of those African Nigeria didn't qualify for it, remember?
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I'm
After
telling you.
winning it, Nigeria didn't
All
qualify
right,
for it.
gentlemen, let's take calls in. 09022231011 and 0817-624-8565. What do you make of the draws, and do you think that Nigeria can qualify comfortably from this group? Good afternoon, welcome to the show. Oh my goodness, please do all two call us back. Thank you very much. Victor, good afternoon, welcome. Yes, Victor.
So let them prepare well for the competition. That's my thing. Thank you, Father.
Thank you very much, Victor, for talking to us. So just stick to the 0817-624-8565 line, and that's due to the fact that we're going through some technical difficulties in the other line. Thank you very much for understanding. Good afternoon. Welcome to the show, Top Gun again.
Mari,
Yes, Top Gunner.
planting at the 26.4 draw. Nigeria, South Africa, Benin, and Zimbabwe. Mari, the only problem Nigeria may get is Benin Republic and South Africa. General may try to play the spoilers. The only ticket Nigeria has is to beat these two teams. Other teams are minor. The Eagles need to, they need to hear the fans, the wound they have inflicted on us. They have been there. The general may try to rub shoulder with the big team, but they have nothing to do.
All right.
So it's a matter qualifier, but this time around, you can't do anything. Thank you, Father.
Thank you very much, Top Gunner, for talking to us this afternoon. All right, so Fun is going to check out Facebook comments for us right now. But let's talk about what's happening right now here in the European scene. United and Barcelona, that's Manchester United, by the way, have both been fined for breaches of UEFA's financial fair play regulations. The governing body announced in its latest round of monitoring on Friday that United have been handed a €300,000 fine for a minor break-even deficit for the financial year spanning from 2019 to 2022. Barca, meanwhile, were issued a larger €500,000 fine for wrongly reporting in the financial year 2022 their profit on disposal of intangible assets which are not relevant income under the regulations. FFP was introduced by UEFA in 2009 to prevent football clubs from spending more than they earn in pursuit of success and risking their long-term financial health as a result. Well, likes of AC Milan, Inter Milan, PSG, who were fined by UEFA in September last year, all met financial targets for last season. Well, Blyden, a couple of weeks ago, they announced profit, but it looks like there's a bit of one or two in the profits they made in the year in review. Manchester United talking about.
Well, I think it was an issue, 2022 season, right? But come on, you look at that financial period, moving away from the 2021 season that had to do with, what's it called now, that had to do with COVID-19 period. It's been a conversation, and now that's slide. My first concern about the story, Mari, is them being fined £250,000 for just having a slight adjustment at a fair play. And imagine
here's the thing.
what gets to happen if it's huge.
Now, the truth is, we call them slight adjustments, but this can affect long-term, projections.
Well,
as a matter of
that's
fact,
basically what
the
they
Juventus
call it.
story you were hearing today about the fines and the fact that they're not going to participate in European competitions, it started with slight adjustments in every year's financial records, and it turned out to be this big.
every year is big. 1 year. And it wasn't entirely their fault, according to them. It was basically a report of the accounting.
You think they would ever admit to their fault?
Well, I don't know basically, but the COVID-19 affected businesses at that time. What I'm happy about is that the fine for Manchester United is just small, £250,000. And look at it, now they don't have money to spend. So if you get to fine them so much, what gets to happen at the end of it?
Let the poor breathe. All right, so fun to take us through 5 Facebook comments before we talk more transfers. We hear that Liverpool's trio of Jordan Henderson, Thiago and Fabinho might be leaving to Saudi Arabia. Conversation for after the comments.
Well, Joshua Tom here has a comment for us. He says, "Good day, guys. Please update me on Chelsea Caicedo deal and Chelsea Ray and Cherki deal with Leon. Thanks." Thank you very much, Joshua. Yubi Akang says, "Good afternoon, football fans. Caicedo said goodbye to his teammates and fans. Congratulations." Xavier Chibong says, "Good afternoon, Marizona and everyone in the studio. I want to say that Sporting Lagos will be the next team to watch out in the upcoming MPL season. Wishing our Akwa United a victorious game today. I'm not impressed with my team Arsenal drawing 2 consecutive games against average teams in a row. I just hope they should do better because more difficult friendlies are coming their way. I'm delighted and relieved to hear that Uren Timber has been announced. Thank you."
All right, so Timber has been announced, guys. And West Ham, came out yesterday to say, tell us now, how far? Is it that you don't want the boy anymore? But we hear actually, guys, that West Ham have been given a promise by Arsenal that in the next 24 hours they will wrap up the deal and announce Declan Rice. Well, Jordan Timber has been officially announced by the Arsenal Twitter handle, and it makes a lot of sense. Congrats to the Arsenal team who are making business and doing what they need to do to put themselves over the line for next season. Rodrigo, the man who formerly played for Valencia, Leeds United, have joined Ryan in Qatar. Well, if your people are saying this man made a mistake, he thinks he's going to Saudi Arabia, but it's Qatar he's going to.
Well, I think he didn't actually see that one coming, but yes, he knows what he knows.
He definitely knows it. All right, Nottingham Forest is set to sign Brazilian winger Willian, former Chelsea man as well. Interesting story. Now, Bladden, this is for you and for you alone. Daniel Levy, Tottenham chairman, is set to meet with Bayern Munich chief executive Christian Dressen to discuss the possible transfer of Harry Kane. Well, we hear there's been no meaningful progress, right? That was made. The meeting was yesterday, actually, and we don't know if there was any meaningful progress. We hear that Harry Kane has traveled with Tottenham Hotspur team for pre-season. But at this point, it's either Harry Kane goes now for money or goes next season for free. Yo, Daniel Levy, what are you really thinking?
Well, I do not know. Basically, we see.
Bearing in mind that if you don't find the £500,000 contract extension deal, if he signs with Tottenham,
huge money, Mari. Tempting, I must say. It's like going to Saudi then. One way or the other, just quite close to moving to Saudi. Henderson was given 700,000 pounds a week, and everyone's
but you know, if the Saudis come for Harry Kane, it's going to be like double of that.
Definitely.
Well, it's going to be big, we know.
Yeah.
It's going to be big, we know. But I'm here now because when I saw the chairman of Bayern Munich fly in yesterday night and they had that conversation, I'm still waiting for the outcome. Sadly, my sources have refused to update me, and they're doing this deal in secrecy.
Yeah.
That's the part I do not like.
But is there a chance? Is there a chance that Harry Kane leaves Tottenham this summer? I think in the wildest of imaginations.
For Bayern Munich to make that flight in, I think it's something serious. They want the man because you look at different considerations. The alternative for them is Alvarez at Manchester City right now. And they really want the man to come, especially now that he's getting so close to 30, because Coman never can know what happens when he turns 30 fully. But I think Bayern Munich need them, and Danny Levy wants £100 million for cash. Can they cough out that money? Well, by tomorrow we'll get to know.
All right, well, I can cough. Not the money, though. Good afternoon. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. Marizona, better than other in the studio. My name is Nadia Chibong.
Welcome, ID.
Thank you. I need to yesterday ask about you. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
All right. I want to talk about Super Eagles and the group they are in. The mindset at which our coach and our players have with our mind think we will top the group. But if we change our mindset and our coach will have a good tactic, there's nothing that will stand in our place. We'll crush everything that comes our way. But the problem is that we will have the same mindset we've been having in business way. When we start with data, we be shivering.
All right.
So since use calculators to calculate if nobody will qualify. That's my take for now. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for talking to us. Kyle Walker, we here has reached an agreement to join Bayern Munich from Manchester City. That's a shocking story. And it's really interesting. Good afternoon. Welcome to the show. All right, go ahead. All right.
Concerning the I think people are underrating certain Lagos. Forgetting that certain Lagos are true. That is their home field. So I expect even certain Lagos to do tougher opening for Aquana. I don't know how Aquana will do to win again because certain Lagos are Aquana is more like going away. In Man City, you need to sign Josco Godia. That's what I want to know.
Thank you very much. For Josco Guardiola, the deal is still in place. But we hear that City have now looked at Benjamin Pavard as a new right back. That's if Kyle Walker leaves, and that's going to be more like a swap deal because Pavard currently plays for Bayern Munich, and Bayern Munich wants Kyle Walker, City wants Pavard. It's a deal. Good afternoon. Welcome to the show.
Yes, married Joe.
Right, Joe.
I think, yes, looking at the last season and how things were in the English Premier League, I think it will be very difficult for Aston Villa to make any headway this coming season. So again, saying that I think it would be a waste of time. I must have spent, if he says there, he will have spent 90% of his football career. So I think we should leave. Please update me with Chelsea transfer the same so much.
All right, thank you very much. We'll talk about Chelsea. Well, we hear Caicedo. Sign up. They don't agree sign up. Good afternoon. Welcome to the show.
Good evening to you, Mario. I'm
Hey, Kaiden. Welcome.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. I think let me take a look at the situation of the transfer in Arsenal. I think based on their performance in the last two games, I've been seeing them play very sluggish, even with their best start, knocking lower teams to the draw. I think they should be very, very careful with their opening game, with their Nottingham Forest, because actually, Nottingham Forest has an understanding and they have a good record against Arsenal. So Arsenal sometimes they think of winning the league, but they should forget their first game. They should not forget their first games against Nottingham Forest. It might be a shock that Nottingham Forest is like 1-0 again and put Arsenal back into a shame. Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you so much, Ezekiel Ekaidem, for talking to us. Good afternoon. Welcome to the show.
Good afternoon, Arizona.
Sounds like Nolax. Yeah, welcome Nolax.
Yeah, first of all, I want to tell that fan that came in to say my team Arsenal will win the league, my team this will win the league, and finally he has to win it with Chelsea. I don't know if somebody doesn't win anything with Chelsea, the person doesn't work. Whatever you are saying doesn't work if you don't put Chelsea in it. And he ended with saying Chelsea went and sold everybody. What is business? We sold Navas today. Navas came in yesterday and they equalized. He doesn't know what we are doing. He should just leave us. We are pushing out people that we don't need. Those people were there last season. What happened? We don't need them.
All right.
We are looking for who we will get now. Let's just take it slow by slow.
All right.
We release Jesse and people will just making noise all over the place that we don't have sponsors or whatever. I don't know what's wrong with all these people, but let me see. That Jesse, I'll buy it and I'll buy it for 3 other fans. For my team, Chelsea, I believe they will do very well. I just hope Aqua United this evening will do very well to go and get that 25 million. That's my target.
Thank you very much. I would advise you focus more on Aqua United. It's a candid advice from a friend. Let him take a bite.
Mary, my source got offended when I said he's not been updating me.
Apologies.
And just give me a little bit of an idea of what's happening at Tottenham Hotspur.
All right.
And according to him, the last conversation Harry Kane had with the coach Ange, that it's kind of convinced Harry Kane not to cause any trouble if he doesn't go this season, and no problem. And after the conversation with the chairman of Bayern Munich, they've set the price even higher, £120 million. And it's quite difficult at the moment for Harry Kane to leave as it stands. The standings points to a direction that Harry Kane might just continue at Tottenham till the end of the season, but not ready to renew his contract.
All right. Well, for those of us asking, what's Blyden Sauce? The name of Blyden Sauce is I don't go live for you. Story is our one story. And Bounce, there's no show without Mr. Easy. Take it easy. Welcome to the show, Mr. Easy.
Thank you, sports analyst. I am stuck because the new development about Liverpool now is about Jordan Henderson and Fabinho. If you can take Henderson away from Liverpool, you can take Thiago from Liverpool, but don't take Fabinho out of Liverpool, because even though Liverpool were struggling entire last season, it is Fabinho play a big role in our midfield. So I don't know how Jogging Club will do.
Thank you.
3 and 5 midfield have already left. We brought in 2 midfield. Now we are about to 3 midfield are about to depart from Liverpool. Please, I don't know which kind sponsor or ownership have on Liverpool. I'm tired of this.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, Mr. Easy's Liverpool team, we hear that Jordan Henderson, Thiago Silva, and Fabinho attracting interest from Saudi Arabia. We hear from, so that's why he's crying. Clubs in Saudi Arabia are pursuing. But of course, they're looking forward to some aggressive recruitment strategy in recent months and looking to get in Liverpool's trio. It's a conversation for the next coming days. So we have some comments on Facebook as we bounce on phone. Check that out for us. Well, Blyden, as we set to bounce this afternoon, Liverpool brought in 2. Well, people say that if they get money from the signings, they could fund, their midfield signings in the coming days as well.
They're talking to Caicedo too.
Oh,
Liverpool
Chelsea.
are talking to Caicedo right now.
Chelsea.
Chelsea are slowing down with the deal.
That's a sad story.
But there's an interesting story right now that's captured me, which I think we can talk about in a bit, 1 minute thereabout. Well, ex-Manchester City star Benjamin Mendy whips as he's cleared.
He's not guilty.
Whipping. Yeah.
I wanted to use that to end the show. We'll talk about it tomorrow.
Sorry, Mari.
Thank you. I blame your sources. Your sources just overdo these things.
I don't know what's wrong with them, man.
Your sources. I know go live for you. All right, so 2 comments on the bounce phone.
Well, Nestor Homi Nelson says, good afternoon, sports analyst. What's the latest on Andre Onana to Manchester United?
It's almost a done deal. We hear the man is a United, set to have a medical. Will be announced in the next coming days.
Well, we have Daddy Mini saying, good PM, sports crew. Good PM to you too. Chelsea will try to sign Neymar if he decides to leave PSG. Please, how true is this?
Right.
Also, Arsenal are still drawing games. This is how they bottled the league. Hope they won't bottle it again, aka bottling FC.
All right, that's it. For Neymar, it's just some rumors. That conversation was from Le Paris here in France yesterday. Well, that's it for the show. Thank you, Blyden Okem, the High Chief, for being a bit about the conversation. Thank you, Fiok Johnson, the Big J. We hope to have you regularly.
Yeah, hopefully.
Don't tell me hopefully. Thank you very much, by the way. Thank you for being a part of the conversation. Thank you, too. For those of us who called and who contributed on Facebook, we appreciate you. Thank you so much. It's a Friday. Let's go out and enjoy ourselves responsibly. We'll be back tomorrow morning, 7:30 to 8. In the afternoon, it's going to be 12:30 to 2. It's a Saturday. So 94 minutes of football talk on Planet Radio, 101.1 FM. So that's it. My name is Marizona, and I wish you a lovely, fantastic, fabulous Friday.